Hello, and welcome to the new set of the Rag Company podcast. Guys, it's looking good in here.
What happened?
It's
Where's
looking
my Suburban
real
at?
good. Well,
Where did it go, Dane?
you'll have to look in your office now. I'm
Dane,
sure
where's
it's
Dane,
tucked
I'm
away
not
over
allowed
there.
in my office for the
They all
next 2
disappeared.
weeks.
Well, you know what? We got a new background, fun to look at.
It is
And
pretty fun to look at.
This will evolve over time, so expect to see it change over the course of the next few months. It should be
There is
interesting.
Stuff falling from the ceiling. It
Well,
just
how
landed
about
all
that?
over your face.
Wow, I
That's
didn't even
how
notice.
fresh this
That
backdrop
is-
really is.
Wow.
That is
that was
so
am-
fresh,
that was
so
amazing.
clean, so new that it's snowing in here, and I don't know what to think
totally
about
is.
that. That's a little bit concerning.
totally-
All
That's
right.
how you know it's good.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
for those of you who watch the program here on YouTube, on the Rag Company Podcast YouTube channel, you can obviously see things have tweaked a little bit behind
your
us.
dad spent a very long weekend in
Yeah.
here redoing this wall in
It
preparation.
looks good.
As people know, we have the Rag Company Media Access
That's right.
happening next Tuesday. And
Wow.
so, Dane, you're going to be doing some of the
Yes.
behind the. He's going to be doing some of the hype man, the
Well,
host,
somebody has
the
to be
hosting
your
abilities.
tour guide
Yeah,
through this whole thing.
and you're going to be in
So,
this space. So
yeah.
we wanted you to look as cool as possible.
It is. It's looking pretty classy in here now. We're
Dane,
getting
are
all
you going
this
to have
wood around us.
brochures to pass out to people? Since you are the tour guide.
Well, it's a digital program. It's a live stream, so I won't be able to physically
Oh.
hand anybody anything.
Well,
But
that's
you will be able
unfortunate.
to tell people about what's going to be
Right.
happening as the day.
So I
these events
suppose in a
happen.
form of housekeeping, it is very important to note that this is the last week before the Rag Company Media Access show. This is the last time we'll be doing the podcast before that week hits, which is next week. And when it does, we won't be doing our normal podcast situation.
Yeah.
We'll be so preoccupied with all the Rag Company Media Access stuff going on.
Correct.
That's where all our attention will be. And that's where your attention should be, too. That's all I'm
So
saying.
wait, Dane, that means that there's not going to be a weekends episode next week?
No, not next week.
Oh,
Way too busy.
That's too bad.
well,
way too
I'm going
busy.
to tell you a prequel weekend.
Okay.
This week at the MOSHQ, ladies and gentlemen.
What was your
it's
prequend?
Land Cruiser Week.
What?
That's right. Did a Land Cruiser this weekend. Tomorrow, doing a Land Cruiser Prado.
No way.
That's right.
2 Land Cruisers in a row?
And then next weekend, another Land Cruiser.
Not possible.
That's right, ladies and
Have
gentlemen.
you tapped into the Land Cruiser
I
Facebook
don't know.
group? Or
It's
what?
just how my schedule shook out.
Okay. Shake and bake, baby.
lot of 2014 Toyota Land Cruiser.
Yeah.
I know Gabe behind
an
the scenes is a
08
real fan.
An 08, LX 470 Lexus.
Holy smokes.
Otherwise known as a Toyota Prado.
Also a
Land
Land
That's a
Cruiser,
Cruiser.
GX is the product.
Yeah, it's a
Yep,
GX,
the smaller
and then
guy.
that's what it is. And then another 14 Toyota Land Cruiser.
Wow.
A lot of big boys in there.
Such
say
good
that.
truck.
There
So,
is some
That's what
big,
I'm going to
big
be.
boys.
That's what I'm detailing. So detailed
Okay.
one this weekend, detailing one tomorrow, and detailing one next weekend.
Have you done many of them before? Or is
Yes,
this kind
Dane,
of
these are all repeats.
good?
So-
Okay. Just curious how the paint was on them.
They're fine.
Okay.
They're all used.
Nothing to write
mostly.
home about. Nothing
They're
crazy.
car wash, scratch kind of
Okay.
stuff. The
Normal stuff.
GX 470, not really sure about it, but it is white.
Okay.
Okay.
So, but some easy colors: silver, white, and then white.
That's
Is
what I
this
like
the
to
one
hear.
that's like kind of overlandy that's done up a little bit?
No, he sold that one.
Oh, he did. Okay. So
bought another one.
just couldn't help himself. So
Same color interior.
what was the goal selling one just to buy another one anyway?
That's what he does.
Okay.
He also installed a new Edelbrock supercharger on his Corvette.
No
Ooh.
way.
Ooh, that must be
That's what
fun.
he did this week.
That was that C7, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Dang, man.
must be nice, right?
You know.
Sounds like
So,
fun.
what kind of trick or treating did you guys do this weekend?
Oh boy. Well, you know what? Maybe so that
You know what kind of
that's
trick
your
or treating I want to be doing?
what?
What's that?
TRCMA. Trick or treating.
I don't
That's
even
the
know
kind
what
of
that
stuff
means.
I want to do.
That doesn't mean
Okay.
Rag
anything.
Company Media Access.
Okay.
It's
No
like
tricks,
knocking-
all treats.
No tricks.
You thought
all
we were
treats.
done promoting ourselves, but here we go again.
Yeah, no tricks, all treats. All you got to do is virtually knock on our door
Yeah.
by going to those links on YouTube that we have.
We'll leave the light on for
Yeah.
you.
And I will mention, though, as it is SEMA 360 week, right? There is
Yes.
Starts tomorrow.
There is a SEMA event going on this week. if you are some type of if you're a buyer,
if you're a registered SEMA member or SEMA attendee in the past,
feel free to check out our booth.
If you have your badge number and badge and all that stuff, you do got to have all that first.
There's still like a little bit of gatekeeping involved with this one. So.
A little. I will admit,
it's very different.
Jumping on there, it's very different. It might be a little hard to navigate at first. You can just search us underneath the manufacturer's search list.
You have to click on the manufacturer's thing though, because there's no obvious search bar unless you already go there. So type in rag and then you'll find us.
Yeah, and so check it out. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but if you have any questions, you can shoot us a message and you can ask us on there. There is like a chat feature, and we are jumping on from time to time on there, but we aren't spending too much time on there because we're really trying to ramp up for TRC MA.
We have a lot of work to do,
and we have a lot of work to do, and so but. Feel free to check it out. We've been kind of browsing around a lot of our other friends' pages, right, over at MTM.
Kind of like what we would have been doing had we actually been at SEMA and built a booth.
Koenig Wheels.
We would be spending Monday cruising around, saying hi to everybody, catching up, shaking hands,
kissing babies,
that's giving hugs.
That's my favorite day of SEMA is kissing going back and not kissing any babies. Not that I know
of. A lot
of
motor
shaking
oil
hands
and
seeing everybody on Monday.
Shaking hands, right?
The Monday before the show.
I call it a spit shake, right? Spit in my hand, I shake,
that's
right?
the one thing that you miss mostly.
And I can't do that anymore due to the whole
issues, I wonder why.
I don't think you were supposed to do that in the first place. That's why we did bring lots of hand sanitizer every year.
It was old school. I liked it. I feel like it brought up my immune system.
You sealed the deal. That's what it was about. A gentleman's agreement.
That's what it was. And so, but I missed that though. It was probably one of my favorite days of SEMA just because it was low stress. Our booth set up, and it was just cruising at that point.
We didn't have anything to do. It was like our day off.
Well, what I liked, it was kind of like the feeling of, let's go see who doesn't have their booth set up and see how much stress that they're under.
That was always fun.
And we walk up,
feel bad for other people,
and we see people like sweating, struggling, like they're like at the last minute, they're like, our booth fell in half. And
my favorite was seeing everybody.
Smaller companies set up their booths themselves for the most part, but if you're a bigger company, they oftentimes just pay someone else to set it up.
And my favorite though is we would go over to their booths and we'd visit and say, hey, is there anything that we can do? And they're like, do you have an impact wrench right now? I'm like, no, we don't have an impact wrench. Okay, do you have this tool? No, we don't have this tool.
We have a hammer and a screwdriver.
We've
got so many towels.
Yeah. I'm like, but I do have some towels on me. And they're like, that's not really helpful right now. But that was it. That was always kind of fun. But I think just walking around saying hi to all of our friends.
Yeah.
But most of the people too that do go to SEMA, right, the physical show, a lot of the guys wouldn't even come in until that Monday night, right?
That's the crazy thing.
We would show up to go say hi to friends, and they're like not even there.
Yeah.
And we'd still cruise.
Randos
but
working on their booth.
I just like being able to go and see all the cool cars, right?
Yeah, that was cool too. When it's quiet, there's nobody there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they don't even have the covers on them yet. In some cases, it's a real sneak peek. Yeah,
it is. And so I do miss that, but I mean, this year 360. Jump online, you can check out kind of the virtual booths that they have set up, and I think some people have made promotional videos just for the event. I think they did a pretty good job.
There's a lot of booths that have done a lot of great stuff. If you guys need any help, let's say this is the first time maybe you've ever done the SEMA thing and you're checking it out on the SEMA 360 and you're wanting to know more about, let's say, the rag company.
Yeah.
There are sections on the site where you can scan your badge. There is a spot where you can reach out to whoever is working. Yeah. And you'll see at the bottom, you'll see who the booth people are, and you can send a direct message straight to them and ask them if there's, hey, I got a question about this, or hey, I got a question about how do I do this? So that's kind of a nice feature. And so we're going to be kind of checking in every day just to make sure our booth, and we will be notified if anybody does send a message or anything like that. It should
give us a little ping if it does.
So we do want to, we are going to be available for that. But like Anthony said, we are more excited to push the Rag Company Media Access Show, which is free to the public, Dane.
No bias there or anything, because it's free to the public. Anybody can watch it, guys.
Yeah,
anybody.
Exactly. Anybody and everybody.
We put the links out there for you, so you can share them.
Get your mom and dad in there. Yeah. Tell them what's going on. Say, hey,
this is it.
Make sure you're on there.
Great
Siri.
Event.
If you have somebody who just sits and watches the game show channel all day long, every single day, put this on instead.
Yeah. It's all true.
They won't know the difference.
Point is, we're looking to have some fun because all those folks are going to be here at the Rag Company HQ. And safely, socially distant. Everybody's kind of coming on different days. Wednesday's really going to be only our busy day, like a big day, a lot of people.
Yeah.
But every day is going to be fun and different. Dane's even got this wonderful idea of wanting to have something fun outside. a little action out there, a little side bet going on, maybe some horse racing or something.
Well, I
very
mean,
excited about it. I
I
don't
did
understand
have
what
an
it has
idea.
to do with
here's the
cars
deal.
For a little
and stuff,
something
but
outside.
I actually sent a private message to Ken Block.
You did.
Hasn't gotten back to me yet, right? But I think
he's only in Utah. It's a 4-hour drive.
He's not
I
that
think he's
far.
probably going to check it any day.
Hopefully.
And then I sent it 2 weeks ago. So
May have to resort
He
to
might have
Lego
been
Ken
getting
Block.
ready for SEMA 360, and that's why.
Well,
Okay.
I was just hoping maybe we could have like a Ford out front situation, and have him,
I like that idea.
bring one of the RSs around or whatever it could
Yeah.
be.
Anybody
The
who's
Fiesta.
seen like aerial footage of the building here knows there's just a gigantic dirt lot out in front of us between
Perfect
the
for
road
rally
and the
drifting.
front of our building here. It's just a big old dirt lot. Nobody's doing anything with
Yeah.
it.
Unclaimed.
Yeah.
Just
Come
right
do some
for the
donuts
picking.
out front.
Yeah, well, and just be mindful
Let us
of where
move
you
our cars
kick the
first
rocks.
before
Yeah,
you
so
break all
before-
the-
I
Break
had some
the
ideas
glass.
as to
Make
what
sure,
we could do
make
with
sure
it.
Dane knows so that he can move his Jag
Yeah.
before.
yeah.
So it's one of those things when you're driving in the Ram maybe, or I'm driving in the Taco, you're driving in the Burb. Sometimes you're tempted to just drive across the dirt instead of taking
I'm
the
not.
asphalt.
I never am.
Oh, right, because
I
you're
don't want the
detailist.
tires
I
to
drive
get-
across
I
the
don't want
dirt
the tires
because
to
I'm
get
like,
dirty.
save that 0.3 seconds
Yeah.
to the
Well,
front
Dane,
door.
there's nails
Yeah.
in that dirt.
There's
There's
a lot of
there's,
bad-
Good
there's
thing
a,
I got Kevlar tires.
There's
Well,
a ton. That's not going to stop a nail, unfortunately.
That's
but
for
I mean,
rocks, Dane, not
yeah,
nails.
it's,
I like pushing batteries. Okay.
I know, and puncturing tires.
Papa Chrome
That's
rolls.
fine, right?
Papa Chrome is more like pop chrome. Okay, here we go.
That's enough of that, Dane. Now you have to
Alright.
leave. So, Levi, what did you do this weekend?
Well, me and the children pillaged our local neighborhood
What?
with for candy.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
Wow.
I was afraid it was going to be violent.
Well, like
it was.
most of it was. I mean, it was horrifically violent. It was surprising as a father to realize the horror and terror your son can inflict upon a neighborhood.
It's good to
himself,
learn that
right?
By
early.
himself.
And he's
I
what,
suppose.
6?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walking around with a felt basket that looked like an Easter basket and a hammer. And let's just say, woe be to the neighborhood that come upon Jarl Og.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
In full
Jarl Og.
Halloween regalia.
Wow.
So, no, the kids were great. We got them all dressed up. Carly took them to the mall to go get lunch.
Yeah.
And they wandered around the mall, and they trick-or-treated the mall.
Oh, that's right. They do that.
So
Yeah.
they got to do that. And then they came home. They took a little break. I was working on a Land Cruiser, like I said. Then about 5 o'clock. So I took them at about 4 o'clock to the park. Just, blow off some steam.
Yeah.
Get them a little excited, ready to go. As we're walking, our neighborhood was holding a little trunk or treat.
Yeah.
Kids trick-or-treated that without costumes on. They were pretty
Whoa.
excited about that. Augie was just rolling through on his scooter. Boom, 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 pulling stuff.
Was
picking 'em
he?
off.
Just
So that's
yanking.
that's how you do it. You got to
Yeah.
be mobile.
Yeah.
You got to
Wow.
be ready for
Sneak-
action.
I was walking behind him with a shovel in case I had to bury somebody, but
Yeah.
it was, I didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
So, made it to the little triangle park. We used the shovel to dig out the sand because they have these, the old diggers that you could play with, like
Yeah.
the big metal diggers that have the 2 levers.
I love those. Yeah.
This park has those.
That's
but the
old
kids
school.
have dug a ring, around where the digger reaches, so
Yeah.
they don't really dig anything.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
We've always said, let's bring a shovel and dig it all out so we can fill them all back
Yeah.
in, build out the little, areas. So that's what we did. So we dug that out. Kids played for a little bit, walked back home, got dressed, got ready to go, got the costumes on, headed to the grandma's, visited both grandmas, skipped my dad because it was a really long drive, and Carly and I were kind of looking at the time of like, it's going to be an hour just to drive over and back to visit my dad. And so normally my dad comes with us, but he was like, we're still kind of working on the house, and he was busy. So we just hit the grandmas, visited them. Kids got some great things from them, little Christmas, like
Little
Christmas
something, yeah,
baskets,
little something.
Halloween baskets.
Yeah.
And then we said, why don't we hit Harris Ranch? See what's going on in that
Ooh,
neighborhood.
Good spot.
Oh,
You
you're
know?
you're pulling that move. Let's go to the wealthier neighborhoods where they probably have giant candy
Dane,
bars.
Absolutely.
Wealthier neighborhood, but smaller houses, right? Because it's the new style.
Just equals
It's
more
it's
opportunities.
It's a 2,000 to 3,000 square foot house with no side yards,
right.
which I think is weird. But these houses, have these little tiny side yards, which equates to a bunch of houses on one block.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
It's just like going apartment to apartment almost.
Yeah, you literally can just cruise. So we cruise through the neighborhood. There are people out trick-or-treating. There's families sitting out in the front yards with fire pits going. They've all got tables out. They've got candies. And it was like, oh. So we cruised down, parked, then walked and just did a couple blocks.
Okay.
Kids loaded up their bags, had a great time. There was one house that said, please knock on their door.
Yeah.
So we knocked, and they had little Ziploc bags made of candy for each kid.
Very carefully.
And the lady had gloves on, and she was handing them out, and they all had their masks. And my kids had their masks. Augie had his mask on over his nose, and then he put his beard over his nose. So it kind of stuck out.
Like a real beard.
Like a weird beard.
I mean, on the plus side, it is a holiday.
So it was on his nose.
Everybody's already wearing a mask.
Everybody had masks, but the kids had their masks on. It was great. And then we were home, counted candy, baths, kids in bed by 8:30.
Yeah.
Perfect Halloween for that. That night, first thing before they went to bed, Carly and I said, all right, guys, tomorrow, daylight savings time.
My favorite
2 things that I need. This is fall back,
thing that
kids.
happens this time of year.
Fall back. What does that mean? We gain an hour.
That's right.
We get to sleep in a whole extra hour on Sunday.
Yep.
Wow.
Did you guys get to sleep in? Did you sleep in, Dane?
I tried to, but it didn't work.
Did you try to sleep in a little bit on Sunday?
No.
Okay. Guess what time I got to wake up on Sunday?
What
time?
5:30 in the morning.
Holy cow. Okay,
Wow.
I thought my 7 was a little early. But
Let me tell you how great it is to wake up at 5:30 with both kids asking if they can break into their Halloween candy and wins
that's what it
breakfast.
was. See, that's the order. They want the candy before the breakfast.
Candy, then
All
breakfast.
he has to know so you can dose them, right? I'm assuming.
You're like, you need to warn me first.
I got up in the worst mood because of that. Because we prepped them. Carly and I said, do not come into our room or get up. If you wake up and the sun is not up, go back to bed.
Yeah.
You do not get out of your room or out of your bed until the sun is up. It's a very important day for my wife and I. Nope. In our room, 5:30 in the morning, turn on lights, turn on everything. Hey, we need to get our candy. Augie starts playing the piano like a drunken sailor.
Wow.
It was
chaos.
Pandemonium and chaos.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
So I get up. They go out I was like, out, go to bed, like yelling. Finally, they leave our room. They go and turn on the TV, start yelling at each other, start arguing about what they're going to watch.
Oh, jeez.
I walk in. I'm in my underwear.
Yeah.
Turn all the lights off in the house. Turn the TV off. Tell them both to go to bed. And then I don't want them up until the sun comes up.
Wow.
They both kind of just stare at me. I walk back to their bedroom, to my room, shut the door, go back to sleep. Carly's like, you didn't have to be that mean to them. I did, because they weren't listening. Like
you gave them chances and they didn't take it.
So both kids stayed awake.
Yeah.
Didn't go back to sleep. Finally, Carly and I woke up.
They just sit there in the dark and wait till the sun came
Carly
up?
and I woke up at 8.
Oh, boy.
No, they turned on the TV.
Oh,
they
okay.
watched.
They just went right back to it.
They didn't care. So then we got up at 8, got them breakfast, all that kind of stuff. And then I swear to you, yesterday was the longest day of existence. It took everything in my power to not get my kids in the bath at 5:30.
Oh.
We got them in at 7:30, watched the new Mandalorian.
Oh.
Watched it all together as a family.
Wow.
Delightful. Then put the kids to, got them in the tub, got them to bed. As soon as we were done, it was almost 9 o'clock. And I looked at Carly and I was like, why am I so friggin' tired? And she goes, well, because it's actually 10. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like we were trying, I was like, these kids should have been in bed a while ago in my brain. So Carly and I just went to bed at that point.
Just go.
Kids went down.
Relax.
It's like, I'm going to sleep. Like I started looking at my phone, laid down in bed with her, looking at my phone, and I started falling asleep. I was like, I can't do this. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
She's like, all right, cool. So that was my weekend. Pretty simple, pretty easy.
Nice. It sounds relaxing. I like that.
Yeah,
not too shabby.
Dane.
I mean, mine actually kind of melded into Anthony's, so we could probably just team up on this one.
Yeah.
But
wait, you guys spent the weekend together?
A little bit.
Kinda. Not entirely, but kinda. Some parts.
You guys know you have my number, right?
Well, but we know you got kids and responsibilities and stuff, so we didn't want to bother you.
Or not.
His wife was out of town, so he decided to turn it into an opportunity to do
some
car
stuff. Even if I'm busy, I could say, "Oh man, thanks guys. I'm busy though this weekend. I'm detailing, but I appreciate you calling me." But no, it's fine. It's cool.
Well, see, don't feel bad. 'Cause normally he doesn't invite me to things anyway. I just happened to catch him at the right time.
That is true.
Well, so
I like my alone time.
Yeah, I like my alone time too. But you know what? He invited me in this particular
time. I probably would have also enjoyed.
This is gonna sound weird. He invited me because I can handle a camera.
I like to use people for their skills from time to time, but I also enjoy the company of Dane, and so it's fine.
I'm
Did
fun
you call
company.
Gabe first and see if he was busy or?
No, I didn't even think to call him, to be honest. Sorry, Gabe. It didn't even come to my mind. Anyway, so my weekend started off. So the whole plan for this weekend, I've been planning this for like weeks. Right. Katie is gone. Right. Went down to Mexico.
You could walk around your house naked if you wanted to.
I could have, right? So
Blake would have been a little confused.
Yeah, okay.
I'm glad I missed that part. But
so she went down. She had a girls' trip that she had planned with her work friends for a while, and so they wanted to go down to not Guadalajara. That sounds familiar, but I don't know what the name was. It started with a G, right? But it was apparently some beautiful place. So she went down there on Thursday. I think it was Thursday or Wednesday. I think it was Thursday. Thursday morning. So I had all those days free. So. Friday, got off work. I'm like getting straight to work, right? So got home, started prepping everything to start coding the Civic, right? So I was going to do a full detail, like a full crazy
you were going to
detail.
go through it.
I was going to go through it.
You still had to cut. You had to wet sand your fender and door.
Yeah.
You had a lot of stuff that needed to get done.
There was a lot, right? And so Friday night, started prepping everything, started going through, getting all the products laid out, everything that I was going to use, and just kind of taking inventory of kind of like my plan, my process for everything. And so, because I wanted to do this right. I wanted to really plan this out. So got everything set up Friday night, had it all laid out, all the products, all the tools. And so Saturday morning, woke up super early, which was Halloween. Woke up early and jumped straight into it. So pulled the Civic outside, gave it a wash, snow foamed it with GSF. And what was incredible, I was in direct sunlight, right? At that point, I think it was 10 a.m. Sun was up, fully up. And I started laying down some foam, and I let it sit on there for quite some time. And I'm still working with some
you're kind of testing
I'm still working with some pretty hard water. But I was amazed that after I had washed the car and rinsed everything, there was no soap staining, there was no water spotting, there was no issues at all whatsoever.
And that was half an hour.
I feel like there's something in GSF, right, that actually, I wouldn't say prevents hard water spots or prevents soap staining, but I feel like it gives you substantial more working time.
I think it's designed to sit. It's designed to sit for a very long time.
I think it's fairly pH neutral.
The soap is going to have an issue.
Yeah,
but it's going to have that where it's going to dry regardless of temperature or sunlight.
But that's not the same with every soap. So that's why this one was just so. It was confusing, but because I was in such a rush, right? Because we all know what it's like to wash a car in direct sunlight, especially when you're doing a foam cannon, right? You're sitting there like, holy crap, I can't even talk to anybody. I have to move so fast, and so. Moved quickly, but I mean, not anywhere near as fast as I probably should have. And once I rinsed the car, I was looking at it. I'm like, holy crap, man! Like this rinsed so clean.
Yeah,
it was incredible. And the other thing I really do like about that soap as well is you don't really get any buildup of extra residual soap residue on the surface. It rinses clean, right? Because there's other soaps, right? Well, you'll rinse it, and your hydrophobic properties will almost be dulled for some reason, right? Because you're like, there's a film, and now I'm going to get down the rabbit hole.
No, you're right. You'll get this. There's
like a scum that's left on the surface, and when you go to rinse it, you're like, oh, I got to keep rinsing this before that hydrophobic effect comes back, or I got to take a towel to dry it. Like for some reason, it's leaving some type of film, and I feel like GSF just doesn't do that. I think it rinses so cleanly, and so. And it's very slick stuff too. So that's a testament to GSF. Just letting people know it's great soap. If you haven't tried it yet, please try it. From there though, wheels off. Brought the car into the garage, took everything off, jacked it all up, got it on jack stands. Wheels off. Did a wheels off deep clean on all of the wheels. Brake buster, IK foamer. Gave the tires a deep scrub. Pressure washed them. Turned out fine. And then from there, that's when I wanted to go kind of above and beyond because I figured the car's already up in the air. I haven't done a deep clean. I haven't cleaned my suspension and my coilovers since I got them. Yeah. So they've been dirty for, 2 years, right? And I was like, I'll go through. So since the car was in the garage, I didn't want to bring a whole bunch of water in there. So I actually plugged in the steamer and got the steamer going. I steam cleaned the entire fender wells.
Yeah, beautiful.
amazing. I've never steam cleaned fender wells before.
What type of steamer do you have again?
I did that on Tyler Centeroosa's one year.
Yeah, McCulloch 1275.
That's right.
And it's plenty, man. And so all I did is I steamed everything with O&R, right? So I had O&R in my mix, 256-1. Steamed everything up. And after I steamed everything, I hit everything with power clean, agitated everything with towels and brushes. But what was really cool was I agitated the coilovers, a little bit of power clean, built up a good lather. But then I could take that steamer, and because it's a forced air steamer, it was able to blow off all of that foamy, that gunk. And man, did it looked nice. It was one of those like satisfying things where maybe even if it's not the most effective thing, it just felt good, right? I'm like, damn, this is clean, right? Yeah. And so that was pretty cool. And so from there, basically kept prepping the rest of the vehicle. Got everything clayed. I used the new clay bar. Fantastic. Switched to the ultra clay towel because my stuff just wasn't that contaminated. Honestly, I did because I did a fault remover during the wash, and I'm looking around and I'm like, dude, I think I keep this Civic so freaking clean.
I don't doubt that it was spotless.
It's already
the only
very
thing
clean.
I could think of is maybe like a slight touch of overspray somewhere from the fender and the door.
Yeah.
When they were painted because they weren't removed from the car.
Correct. And so, but there wasn't much. One thing I did have to do, complete underside of the passenger area. Tar, man. There was a crap ton of tar, and it was all over the underside of the side skirts. It was all over the rear bumper. I busted out that Wowo's tar and glue remover, man. Put it on a towel.
That stuff
just it freakishly just melts. It's almost it's too good, and you kind of wonder. I don't know, but hey, whatever, man. Just send it. Right?
Works. It legitimately works.
Really,
it works.
The best of the best.
If you're like, oh, this isn't strong enough, just saying.
Dude, that melted
it's one of those
that
things
right
you
off.
need Wowo's tar and glue remover in your toolbox.
And you don't even need a lot, man.
No,
you're
you get
using
one bottle,
like a dab.
It's gonna last you
years.
Yeah.
Like when Jason Rose said, "I need a case," I was like, "Jason, how much stuff are you going through that you need a case?"
I mean, he does go jeeping a lot, so.
But you don't get that much tar and rubber.
I guess
all
not
over
tar
everything,
though.
so
Yeah.
No,
I don't know. I was like, does he have a professional race team that he's starting to?
It's strong stuff. I'll just leave it at that.
He might be a secret drifter. We don't know.
Point is, pick up some tar and glue remover because it is good to have for those situations.
It is. Well, because, especially when you're doing a correction, right? You're already like, I don't care if I mar the surface. I don't care what happens because I just need to remove the stuff anyways. One way or another. It's either me picking at it with my fingernail or me literally wiping once and it melting off into my towel.
Right.
So went through, got everything done on the entire car, and that's when I kind of called it a day there. Dane came over for a bit during that time. He, kind of helped me I kind of showed him what I was doing with the clay. I kind of walked him through those steps. But we hung out, he brings me a 40, like this cider, right? He goes to Costco, right?
I just made a Costco run at the new Costco that had just opened near our houses. And it had literally been open for like 12 hours, like not even a whole day. And I thought, I'm going to stop by there. I have to pick up some things anyway. I'm sure it's going to be a zoo, but, I'm just curious. I'll go check it out. I go in there. Everything is so new. And one thing that had happened, just kind of tying it into my weekend, was I bought some cookies last week. And, me avoiding sugar and everything, but couldn't resist. Got these little mini cookies at a different Costco a week prior, and they were all crunchy and not fun. But I thought, and Liz had pointed that out, and she was like, "Oh man, I thought they were going to be soft like the last ones we got." I was like, "I know." So, my logic was at this new place, everything is new,
should be
so the cookies should be
shapement.
brand new, and sure enough, they were. Just ooey gooey soft goodness. But anyway, I digress. The cider that I got was a really good cider from somewhere in Oregon, and they came in these massive bottles. It was like a small wine bottle.
It was a 40. It was a 40 is what it was.
Yeah. But they were good, and I thought, I'll bring a treat over to them.
Share with friends after by yourself
after
when
a long
wife's
day.
Gone.
So what did I do? I got two of them, and I said, one's for Anthony, one's for me.
So he shows up and gets out of the jack with these two giant bottles. Like, what are you?
And he's rolling his camera, like doing his thing. But
so I'm like, Dean, what is this? He's like, I brought you a drink. I'm like, geez, are you trying to get me wasted?
I was like, well, you'd space it out, but
so it's got a convenient screw top lid.
I didn't want to show up empty-handed. I was like, I'm coming by anyway. I'm going to hang out for a while. Here, I'll be a guest and bring something, fun.
Yeah. So but he got to come hang out with me. So I actually wet sanded the door that day too, right before my day ended.
Yeah.
That clear that Jonathan laid on that door and that fender, it was so instead of some WAP, it was some HAC.
Oh, okay.
So it was some hard clear, man.
Yeah.
I was like, holy
real tough
crap. 3,000 grit?
Wasn't even doing anything.
Was just like love marking it, right? It wasn't doing anything. And so I'm like, dude, do I go down to 2,000? But then I was thinking to myself, like, man, the texture is so minuscule, right? And it goes back to remember that topic we talked about, right?
Right.
Is it really that big of a deal, right? Having a little more texture, maybe this one door where it's really not that noticeable to anybody else except for myself, but I don't know how much clear is on there. I'm assuming there's enough to work with, and I probably could completely sand this. But I thought to myself, whatever, man. Doesn't bother me. Still looks good. Still looks glossy. Just going to leave it, right?
So you knocked the whole door and fender with 3,000?
But I knocked the whole door with fender with 3,000, right? I could have gone to 2,000. Probably could have gone to 1,500, to be honest.
It was like that mini truck hood that you tried out once and went, oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it was just super hard clear. I don't know how much partner we put in there, but it was enough. So anyway, so that was that day. That was that first part of that day. Dane took off because my parents are coming over, right?
Yeah,
for Halloween. The idea was to have a bonfire thing in my front yard in my driveway, get my fire pit set up, right? Get some chairs out there, and it was just gonna be me and my parents. That's it. It was just
handing out candy.
And hand out candy, right? Because they, my brother's gone. He's in Germany. My sister's doing her own thing, so they just wanted to hang out with me. And so they said, hey, we're going to come over around 7:30. I said, perfect. So I got the house all cleaned up, right? My big thing is I want to make sure my house is spotless before my parents come over, right?
You said your mom likes to snoop.
Well, my mom's just one of those people, right? And people probably know how parents are, right? Where they walk in, my mom's like, I need to use the bathroom. I'm like, oh, it's right over there. She's like, oh, I'll just use this one because it's closer, right? And she'll use like my bathroom, and then she'll walk in, she'll be like, that mirror's dusty, Anthony. You got to make sure. I'm like, Mom, stop nitpicking my crap. Get the heck out of here, right? So I always make sure everything's spotless, make sure everything's clean. So I did a huge deep clean. Next thing you know, she's like, oh, hey, my friends are also coming over. My friends Mike and Patty, and their kids are going to come over. And I'm like, oh, my God, now I have to really deep clean, right? So I'm like, dude, I'm vacuuming with one handing, spraying Windex with the other, right? Like wiping and vacuuming.
Was Dane there to film that so that Katie could use that?
I had left
later?
because I knew. I was like, oh, he's got family coming. They got a Halloween thing. I'll leave you to it because he was like, you don't understand, Dane. I have to make this house spotless. Look at it right now. It's not spotless.
No, it was dirty, right? And I
thought about offering to help, but I figured, I'll just go.
I'd gotten this new couch order that it came in that day, so I had 2 couches in my living room. It already looks like crap, and so I'm throwing dog toys, getting everything picked up. And anyway, got the house cleaned. Everything looked good, right? And I couldn't find a costume. I didn't have any costume, right? But fortunately, I found my hot dog costume from last year.
Old costume for the win.
Threw on the hot dog costume, looking pretty good. Had the mustache. I'm like a French hot dog, right? Mm-hmm. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good to me, right? Mm-hmm. So my parents show up. They drop off a couple things.
They in costumes?
They were in costumes. They dressed up as a biker couple, right? Ooh. Pretty cool. My mom had like a fake sleeve and stuff. Nice. And they came in the house for all of 2 minutes, walked in, set things on the counter, went back out there to start making this fire, right? My mom was like, oh, we need chairs. Get more chairs. We don't have enough chairs for our friends. So I'm like grabbing every chair I have, right? And putting it outside in the front yard. And my dad starts building up this fire, and then the family comes, and we all say hi to them, and they want to go trick-or-treating in my neighborhood. I said, yeah, absolutely, go for it. So my mom takes off with them, right, to go trick-or-treating. She's like, I want to see the kids trick-or-treat and have fun, so with their family. So they start walking somewhere. So it's just me and my dad. I'm, sitting down. I have a nice whiskey Coke. I have a Jack and Coke. I'm drinking, right? We set up a table with a bowl of candy so kids could just come grab a piece at their own discretion. And my dad builds this Viking fire, right?
Very nice. Yeah.
I'm talking 10 feet tall.
But wait, you're using like you're building a driveway fire. So this isn't one of those like little mobile fire pits.
One of those little mobile fire pits.
It's in his fire pit that we saw.
Yeah. I don't know what he put inside this damn thing, right? These flames were so freaking tall, but it was the crackling, the sparkling thing, right? And he's telling me, he's like, I'm going to show these people how to make a fire, right? And I'm like, what are you putting under all this crap? This thing is blazing. It's so close to my house. I'm getting really paranoid,
that's
right?
Really sketchy.
And he's like, nah, it's cold. You don't have anything to worry about. And
that's
so,
right. Cold stops fire.
Yeah, right.
There's not dry leaves on the roof or anything.
It's not going to burn out, apparently,
or
right?
My neighbors.
So this fire is roaring.
Yeah.
And I have my costume on. I'm sitting there.
Would have loved to have gotten a phone call.
And my dad says, oh, hey, we brought you leftovers in the kitchen, too. We brought you some, whatever that is, Kyoto's or that Japanese steakhouse, right?
Yeah, very
so
nice.
I go and get my styrofoam thing. I come outside. I have my Jack and Coke sitting there. I'm eating my thing next to this giant fire.
And your hot dog costume.
And then my dad goes, hey, where'd your mom go? I'm like, mom went trick-or-treating with the kids over there. He's like, dang. All right, I better go catch up with her, right? And so he takes off. So then
it's just you sitting by the fire?
That's when I found myself sitting by myself in a hot dog costume with 6 empty chairs around a bonfire.
And that mustache.
By myself with this mustache. Right?
Which he is milking this mustache for all it's worth. He has to get rid of it today.
I look like the biggest freaking weirdo in the world, right? And so the first couple of people and kids are kind of coming up, and I'm like, yeah, feel free to take some candy, right? As I'm eating my food.
People take the long way around your house.
They look at the empty chairs, and I'm like, I don't know what else to say. Want to take a seat and join in on the fun?
That's not good.
It was the saddest thing I've ever seen, right? And the thing was, it wasn't like my parents were gone for like 10, 15 minutes. They were gone for an hour, and I had to maintain this fire, so I couldn't leave. I had to sit out there, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, forget this. If I would have known this, I would have gone back inside as a weirdo in my hot dog costume by myself.
Yeah.
But instead, I'm sitting out my front porch while these kids walking by with this mustache on. I'm like, this isn't normal for me to normally have a mustache and a hot dog costume on.
Yeah.
So it was just
candy.
It was just super awkward
at
situation.
At least you didn't have a van in the driveway.
I thank God I didn't, but it was just a super awkward situation. So, but I sat there for a while. The kids finally came back. But what I ended up doing is I ended up going inside and telling Blake, my friend Blake, he was inside. He was getting his costume on. I'm like, Blake, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just getting ready right now. I'm like, I don't care. Stop anything you're doing. Come out and sit with me so I don't look like a freak out here by myself with this mustache and a hot dog costume with all these empty chairs. It would have been different if there wasn't 6 other chairs around.
Right.
It looks like you're expecting people.
It was the weirdest thing I've ever had to do. So I just felt like a freak. But anyway, so they came back, had a good night, hung out for a little bit, passed out some more candy, and then called it. So
you guys have a lot of trick-or-treaters?
We had I don't know,
a handful?
15, 20, right? Okay. There wasn't that many, and in most of them, like I was really worried we were gonna have enough candy, but all the kids were just taking 1 piece each, and I'm like, you kids are too nice. I'm like, grab a handful. I'm like,
fun thing this year I noticed on neighborhood.com, and I don't know if some of you that are on neighborhood.com maybe noticed this.
Nextdoor?
Or Nextdoor, I mean.
Yeah.
So on Nextdoor, a lot of people posting their Ring footage.
Oh.
Yeah.
Their Ring footage of children ransacking their candy bowls.
Oh,
whoa.
Really?
Parents going up and just grabbing the bowl of candy and pouring it all in their kids' bags and
savage.
stuff.
Oh,
and not like late because they're time stamped.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like 6:30.
No.
Ooh, that's ballsy.
7:15. Not like 11:30 at night when the candy bowl's still left out.
Yeah.
That I understand.
So these were obviously like, I'll leave it out there. I trust people. We're going to use the honor system. Didn't work out.
Yeah, kids walking through, just dumping.
Wow.
Parents just grabbing stuff, getting it for the kids, completely killing a trough of food.
Yeah.
Candy for kids.
Yeah. Anyway, sickening.
Yeah.
So after everybody left, I went back to detailing, right? So I said, okay, now I have more stuff to do.
Late at night.
So
here's late night detail sesh.
Got
some whiskey in you.
Well, I started getting a little.
Got some sushi.
Well, I started getting a little crazy,
Yikes
right?
combo.
And so what I ended up doing, right? I ended up taking, so there's side moldings, right, on the Civic, and those side moldings have like a pretty deep indent where the molding is. I ended up taking, what's it called? What do you call it?
You're using Q-tips.
Yeah.
Q-tips and polish, right, and going through and polishing everything out. And I'm like, Anthony, you're getting pretty.
That's why they were blue. I was trying to figure that out. I was like, a bunch of Q-tips used on the ground.
So hyper polished Q-tips. I'm like, Anthony, you're getting kind of crazy with this.
Yeah.
Don't get too crazy.
Okay. Yeah, nobody
but
sees
I
that.
started getting into the best of me, and I started really losing it. And so, but I also polished the glass out, got everything ready because on Sunday that was gonna be the big day. So went to bed, woke up Sunday morning, jumped straight into polishing. I was surprised, man. Let's just say I did my first test panel, did yellow Rupa's wool, the last cut, followed up with yellow foam from Rupa's and hyper polish. Amazing. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how good it turned out. Because last time I polished the Civic, it was just a one-step TLC in an orange pad, right? And I said, whatever happens, happens. This time around, I found that I was able to get quite a bit of correction out of it, more than I thought I was going to be able to get for how much paint's left on the car.
Yeah, right.
And I said, dude, this is looking pretty amazing, right? For all the random clear coat failure that's already happening on the, trust me, there's all sorts of, there's blistering, there's all sorts of crap happening on the car, but I wanted to see what I could do, right? Started looking really, really good. The wipe off was super smooth. Took panel wipe to it, right? Just wanted to see if I was getting true correction. Totally true. Everything was perfect, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it. So
that's nice.
Last cut and wool pad, hyper polish, and the Rupa's yellow. Just killed it. So went around through the whole car, knocked it out. 3-inch on the 3-inch machine. I used orange foam and then green foam, and then used the hybrid for all the small intricate areas. But got everything polished out. Better than what it's ever looked, basically. And so I was really happy. Dane came out and hang out while I was kind of finishing up the last little bit. But it was much easier on jack stands. Everything was turning out really good. And for towels, I was using Creatures. And then from there, went through, washed the car down, rinseless wash, just to wipe off any polish residue. Went back through with panel wiped everything. And that's when I started applying the CSL. And so CSL was trying out a new applicator. Worked out fantastic.
Yeah.
Went on really, really good. But so when I apply CSL, I let it sit until I feel it get slightly tacky, then I remove it, right? Okay. Just that feeling before the tackiness. And then on EXO, by the time I finish an area, I am coming back to my starting point and beginning to wipe it off. And so I gave it about an hour and a half for EXO, and then I'm actually... In between, yeah. So basically finished with CSL, and it's about an hour and a half, and then I started hitting it with EXO. Now, the one thing, though, I will say, that even me, I made a mistake. There was a couple areas where when I was applying, right, I started to, my wiping of the CSL, right, I wiped into adjacent panels, right, rather than boxing it in, right? And so after I had finished, after I finished my full CSL coating, I went back through the light, and I could see where the applicator ended one way, right? It was like some dots, little dots of product that pushed over. And so for that, I had to go back through, hybrid, polish those out, re-panel wipe it, recoat it. Went perfect, went fine. But yeah, so even you can make mistakes without even realizing that you're doing it, especially.
That's why I like that third towel.
You have to do the third towel.
The third towel,
it is.
Usually like an eagle, you can just, because you
can spread it. You can spread it everywhere.
Go over the area that you did. That way you catch some of the shorter little, like you say, those start and stop points where you're applying.
Secret trade name for that towel, the spread eagle.
Dane.
You're welcome.
So, but I was using 2 pearls.
Dane spread eagle.
2 green. I was using for a while. I was actually using 2 green pearls and an eagle. Then I went to then I went to a pearl, to a creature, to an eagle. I was just trying to feel what felt the best, right? What felt the smoothest, what I was getting the best stuff. But one thing is for sure is by the time you're done with that eagle is clogged, right? That eagle gets full, and you could feel the denseness of the towel.
Those fibers are
by the time you're done, and so. But it felt, the car felt good. It looked really good. What's crazy, though, is that most people probably notice this as well. CSL on its own is almost 10 times slicker than EXO topped on it, right? So EXO kind of takes away a little bit of that slickness until that EXO fully cures, right? Yeah. Then once the EXO fully cures, then you get the slickness. But at first, right, you're applying it and you're like, this doesn't feel as good as it did before. Give it time, right? Yeah. And so when this morning I went and checked it, I was like, holy crap, this is slick. So I'm going to hit it with one more coat of EXO tonight after I pick up Katie from the airport. And I think that's going to go on pretty good, and then call it good. So at that point, it'll be CSL with 2 coats of EXO. And it'll be a done deal. But other than that, hit all the trim with C4, hit the side windows, rear windows with CSL. So that car's coated. I don't think, honestly, that inspiration lasted almost like 2 years. It was crazy, right? That one coat I did, that one really crappy coat I did.
That was when you were just learning how to use it. Well, it was a test case.
I think everybody was learning how to use inspiration at that point, right? I think it was.
There's a learning curve.
Well, and they've made it. They've actually, they've done different. They've done a new version towards it's much easier to apply. But that first version, man, those high spots would creep up on you, and you wouldn't even know it hit you.
But once it's on there, it is on there. That's the thing.
That stuff was like glass. I mean, it really dried pretty hard, and so but that lasted forever. And then I did and then from there, that's when I did the crystal sealant application. That lasted fantastic.
Yeah.
But then I was really ready just to have a fully coated, fully done up car. And let's just say, even after all those years, right, since I polished for inspiration, dude, that the paint was still in great shape.
Yeah.
Despite all of the waterless washes, rinseless washes, detail sprays we've sprayed on there, everything we've put on there, there was minimal swirling in certain areas. And the most damage that was actually done on that car was when I had the PDR done, and my boy was wiping with a freaking blue Scott's towel to wipe off his compound. And that was most of the swirling that was on there was from that. So which tells me that our products are really kick-ass. And they hold up, and whether you're looking closely or not, it's something that you can trust in.
Yeah, any of the damage you see in your paint was stuff that was there before you.
Basically. I mean,
because you're still dealing with original paint.
But I mean, I was just thinking, like, dude, we've done so much. I've done so much product testing on that vehicle, right? We've had it to where I remember when Frazier was coming by with Quick Detailer, and he was like, "Can I spray this on your hood?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's fine, right?" And he sprays it on my hood. And he starts taking this towel. He starts applying so much pressure to that towel. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, you got to wipe with some arm strength." And I'm thinking, "Jeez, oh my god, right? That's too much pressure. I can see the hood pressing down as you're doing it."
You have a steel hood though, not an aluminum one. So
correct.
That's a little bit of a.
But like. There. Even all this stuff that all the other stuff that's happened. The car lives outside for most of the time when I don't kick Katie out of the garage, and so it has held up great. And so I just wanted to say that it just shows that we're selling good stuff, we're teaching good techniques, and the same techniques.
Everything works.
We stand by it because we actually use it.
Well, and everything we sell works.
Yeah, and everything we sell works, and it does, and it more than works. And so, but one thing I will say, man, I know that. If you haven't tried TLC with hyper polish, I feel like it's an unsung hero combination.
Well, and it's a combination that was always designed to work together.
Yeah.
Jace was an Opti guy. He loved hyper polish.
Yeah.
And then he developed TLC to work as like that. He wanted something with just a touch more abrasiveness.
Yeah.
And that was what TLC was designed. But he also wanted TLC to be able to run the gamut and do everything. But if you needed to, you could combine it with hyper polish. So those two work so well together.
They really do, and I feel like that. I know we have new compounds and new products. I know
people get excited by what the new thing is.
Yeah, there's tons of new stuff. I mean, there's the new Rupes stuff. There's the new Coach Chemi stuff, right? There's all sorts of stuff coming to light, right? That are fantastic freaking products. The Burke stuff, great products as well. But I feel like this stuff. I mean, that combination of TLC and hyper polish, it's never let me down, not even once, right? I always like the finish of it. I never have to tape trim. It's huge for me, not taping trim.
Time saver.
And so...
Well, this weekend I had that with that Land Cruiser. That it had some car wash scratches just from going through, the mister. But there was a couple scratches, and my buddy Brian walked me around. He's like, got some brush marks here and here and here. I just need you to... I feel sick that I did this. And I told him, I said, well, that'll come out. That won't. This one will. And that's what I reached for, was a Rupes blue wool coarse compound pad and last cut.
Yeah.
And then just knocked out only those scratches, wiped it off, and then I Uno and bead makered the whole thing when I was done with it.
Well, and I always find it interesting, everybody has their favorites and stuff, and then they're just like, well, if you use that, then why would you ever use something else? It's like, well, sometimes you just feel like using something different. It's okay.
Well, and I find that, like, I love the O'Burke stuff on, like, soft Honda paint.
And once again, we don't sell that, but at the same time,
you love it. Perfectly for that. I think it's perfectly designed for that. I like Uno for its ease of use, for quick in and out, quick one steps.
I could do it.
It's basically what I'm going to be doing the next 3 days is Uno. But there's something about last cut just being perfect in every situation.
It's like a jack of all trades. Yeah. It really is. The hyper polish element is just when you want to get that extra clarity at the very end. You can do it with TLC, but hyper polish is just so laser focused on that.
You saw it in action, right? So I lay down. I lay down my last cut, right, with the wool pad, right, and you see I'm like, okay, bam, easy to remove, left a little bit of micro marring, but then I take that hyper polish on that nice, that nice yellow pad, and then lay it down. Micro marring's instantly gone.
Yeah.
But then that wipe off of that and that, right? It's very satisfying. And I would say that if I really wanted to try to extract as much gloss as I could out of it, right, I could have gone TLC, hyper polish, and I could have finished with micro cut from Coach Kemi, right?
To
really try to jewel it out. Like, and I would have probably gone like micro cut with like a soft white foam pad from Rupert.
Or even micro cut pad.
Yeah, a micro cut pad. But I think that would have really been able to jewel out. I mean, to the point where I'm like, this is pretty much perfect. But panel wipe though, man, even though it's that truth serum, shows everything, right? Any fillers, anything like that. Panel wipe didn't even touch the paint. I mean, it didn't pull any other swirls out. I was pretty happy with how the correction turned out.
That's a good sign, because if panel wipe won't do it, chances are it's just not gonna.
Yeah.
That's true.
No, that's cool.
True.
I'm excited to see the car. Are you going to drive it tomorrow?
I'm going to drive it tomorrow, yeah. I'm excited to load that car up now that it has a good base with so much crap. You know how many coats of bead maker that car had on it, right? Gallons. I think there's got to be, 6 gallons of bead maker over the course of like 2 years on that thing. There was so much freaking bead maker and Woa's quick detailer and waterless wash and C2V3. Like, I feel like that car, had like the most, what's this? What do I say? Basically, the levels of gloss that car had, even being so imperfect, right? It was so artificial. It was like an artificial amount of gloss. I feel like that just bead maker and things like that started learning off each other and started building up a new layer of something. Because when I would take alcohol to an area, it would literally turn a lighter shader of red a lighter shade of red, and I'd say, wow, that's, that just shows how much crap is on this paint.
It's not really that color.
I'm excited to do more testing once all this stuff cures and see what kind of toppers we can get to make that paint look the best it can for, being 20-year-old Honda paint.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dane, so other than drinking 40s at Anthony's, what else, and going to Costco, what else did you do?
I laid low. I did some more cleaning around the house, kind of picked up things. There were a lot of leaves in my backyard, the tree, added again. So cleaned that stuff up. I started looking into ramps for my kind of gutter leading up my driveway, because I have an incline driveway. I'm a little elevated. So when I go in, the Jag sometimes likes to scrape, and I've been looking at potentially getting a nice carbon fiber front splitter for it at some point. I just feel like complete the look.
The first time you come out of your
obviously,
driveway.
I need to make a change there with the driveway. So everything's good until you get to that, just where the gutter dips. It's a very quick dip. And I looked online, and that, I think it's like Car Guy Supplies or something, that place I saw online. They had these little like gutter fillers, basically, but they still allow water to pass through underneath. But they're like rubberized, but really, really tough and rugged. So,
and they're very expensive.
They're not bad.
Well, so the ones that
it was like $150.
So the ones that you should look into, right? They're like the standard, right? They're I can't remember the name of them,
because I know I've seen like houses from the 70s and 80s. They had like the metal ramp that was literally just like put on top.
This is the same rubber type of thing, right? It's made out of recycled tires, right?
Yeah,
but
it looks like it.
So dense. It's like 100-something pounds, right? You can't pick it up by yourself, right? And so the idea is once you set it in, nobody's going to try to steal that thing.
Yeah, no.
Right.
But it costs about like $400, $500, right?
Okay, the ones I was looking at were not that much.
But they're really nice. Water to pass underneath. They look really good.
Yeah, it had a little channel cut out of it for that purpose. Because that is one thing that happens in my cul-de-sac in the winter is it collects a lot of water. Ice flows kind of build up and stuff in the winter. So I want to make sure that it still allows for some passage. Just to be safe.
So if you do a big carbon fiber splitter, you're going to put some skid plates underneath?
I may work on the underbody a little bit.
For, like the under, the under things that stick to the bottom, probably rip your paint off.
So right now,
but they protect. They take the brunt of the damage.
There's nothing under the front bumper right now, but there are options for stuff from Jag and some other aftermarket stuff. But right now, it's just those little like aerodynamic, those little feelers. They stick down for like basically
curb feelers. That'll look great.
Not curb
Stick
feelers, but
Dane,
they add the flaps.
Curb feelers a couple times.
Well, they act like that for me, yes. But they add them to like big trucks and stuff. They'll just increase your efficiency,
mud
basically.
Flaps?
No, like okay. So say you have a big lifted truck, but you notice on new vehicles they add plastic, a flap that comes down underneath your bumper. It's usually just dark gray plastic or black plastic, and it's just a cowl. It's just like a big barrier, and all it does is redirect airflow.
Yeah.
And it increases your miles per gallon, generally speaking.
Yeah.
But it's not helpful when you're backing
called
off.
A valance.
It's a valance. Okay. So when you're lowering your car, like I have, where it's 2 inches lower than stock already, and you've got that hanging down, and you're on an incline, and you don't have an axle assist system or air ride or anything, it's a little tough.
So instead of buying this $150 unit for the front of your driveway, why not just invest in an air ride system? to lift the car up. It seems much more, I don't know, appropriate.
I'm sure it's only like $8,000 or something, but
pretty sure you get a lowrider air ride kit for like $800.
I'm not going to deny it. Jag XKR in bags does look nice.
You could raise it and lower it, Dane. You could could dump it
that
on
option.
the frame. Let it
if
lay
you didn't
frame
already
out
look
front.
like a drug dealer, then you would.
Getting there. So, yeah, I'm looking at that, but also just like some other fix-up stuff around the house.
So is your incline that steep?
The incline is fine. Like, once I'm on my driveway, the transition from the sidewalk to my driveway is an acceptable angle. My car at its current height, fine with it. Even if I add, like, maybe an inch
it's the extra
thick splitter or
length that
something.
we're looking at if we do
it's the extra
splitter.
length that becomes a little bit of an issue. All my issue really is that drop-off when you go down into the street from the sidewalk and you transition down to that.
Okay.
That's where the gutter kind of hits.
Yeah.
And it's... it's like a shallow curve, but it's enough that it's touching.
Well,
I'm
what
sure
about the back
this is a
bumper?
common
Is it gonna
issue for
rip
a lot of
off
people.
when you do this?
What's that?
Is the back bumper going to rip off?
No, the back bumper's actually pretty high
up.
up. I definitely want to get a diffuser for it, but down the road. Got the big exhaust. I just want to fit around. I plan on keeping this car for a long time.
Dane, I really think you actually probably need bags for everything that you're saying to me. I'm like, he needs to air up for all these things.
What I'm thinking, you tear out your front yard.
Yeah.
And you regrade.
Oh, just regrade the whole
driveway. So you pull out of so let's say that, ladies and gentlemen, this is Dane's house, right? This is your garage.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So what you do is maybe you bring the driveway around this way and then you pull out. So it's kind of a nice meander.
Yeah.
And then it's a more smooth transition.
Right where his tree is. We pull that out, right?
Right.
So he comes rip that thing out. So he can even hit a drift on the way in, right? So he comes up.
He could stick his leg in it just a little bit.
He just bangs
whip
the
that
gear.
bad boy out.
Bop, 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 bop. Hitting smoke. Things are flying.
Oh,
like Callie's like, what's going on out there?
She's barking.
Now that you mention it, since I hate having a front yard so much,
driveway at all.
Just driveway. Maybe that's where I can turn my investment in paving the front driveway and adding that third stall off to the left. Maybe if I just eliminate some of that grass and I have
the same
little
thing. You kind of regrade it.
Ooh.
So that's where the Jag can pull in because it's an easier transition.
I mean, if I start at an angle to begin with, so much easier.
Yeah.
So much room for activities. I like it.
Yeah.
What you were talking about with regrading the height, which in my head I was thinking of this over-the-top scenario where, no, the house stays at the same height, but I just cut out the entire
front yard
floor of the garage. So actually, the garage occurs at the second floor. I just get a taller door, and I dig into the hillside, and then I just put a lift in there, and congratulations, I have a 2-story garage now.
Dane, I love that.
Dane,
I just need a ladder to get into the door that leads into the house in the mudroom. But hey,
staircase.
Or staircase,
Dane, I pretty much love everything that you're saying here.
I say we build this bat cave that you're talking about. Let's go over there next weekend.
My car is kind of Batmobile-y.
We're going to need a backhoe.
Some fins.
We're going to have to jackhammer and a backhoe.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's going to happen? We're about halfway through.
I fear flooding.
Like, Dane, we're tired, man. We're pretty much done with this.
It's just
but guys, are you guys coming back? Dude, can you just hire somebody to do the rest?
We'll see you later.
Guys, I can't afford it because this was meant to be like a friend's deal. Yeah, we're tired, dude. We're out of here.
I got to go, man. I got kids. And
Sorry, bud. So yeah, that's a fun idea. So yeah, no, I'm dead serious though about the maybe adding to my driveway where it just curves through where the yard is currently because I don't need that
Dane hates
part
grass.
of the yard.
We all know he hates grass.
Well, Dane,
I don't mind having a smaller yard.
What's fun? You add that to your driveway, right? You get rid of some of that grass, right? And it's already on an incline, right? What you can do during the wintertime, take the hose.
Ice rink.
Pour a little water in there, right? Let it freeze overnight, right? You can slide down to get your mail so much faster.
My gosh, how much fun would that be?
You've ever gone
you just
before.
You go buy a bunch of sleds, the little $7 discs.
Oh man!
Just keep them by the front door.
Some metal
Then you can walk out and you just hop on and go.
I'm just trying to think.
Grab the mail.
If my neighborhood would have any kind of code against me doing
slide
that,
on that.
I can't think of any other houses.
Technically,
in my
it's
part
your
of the
front yard. You can do whatever
Dane's
you want.
not a fan of homeowners associations.
No, I am not.
It's your front yard. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Dane, we'll get you those metal pans, right? We'll
I'll
get
just
some.
pave it and
We'll
beg
get some
for
Pam
forgiveness
like they
later.
do in the Christmas Vacation, right? Get that thing underneath there. Boom!
American
and you're
Flyer.
gone.
Wow.
What do you think?
Wow, that sounds like fun, guys.
Sounds like imagination.
I think You've given me a new idea for what I can do.
Yes.
All right, Dane.
All right. So I'm thinking about it. Now, as far as other stuff going on, not really a whole lot. I mean, I did do one thing where I started to watch the continuation of Top Gear after the original 3 left. Mm-hmm. I went on to Amazon Prime and I was like...
Why'd you do that?
Oh, it's like watching a girlfriend with a new boyfriend, and you're like, "What are you doing?"
So there was some part of me that after finishing Initial D completely, I was like, there's just not a lot of good car content out there. So, okay, let's go check out Top Gear stuff. I'm all caught up on every other car show kind of thing that I would care about. So let's go see. Oh, you know what? I never watched any of the Matt LeBlanc Top Gear episodes, and you know what? I got to give the guy credit. He does a very good job with what he's given. Like, actually not bad. Yes, there's cringy stuff. Yes, the acting can be a little stilted. But then again, just like the talents of the original 3, you have to kind of like, if it weren't for
that chemistry.
The chemistry that the 3 had together, which was everything. Without that, it's really hard. But just as like a host in the role, I was actually really impressed with what Matt was able to do. And I really like Chris Harris, too. So I kind of skipped past the first season where they had everybody there because they had I think his name was Chris Evans. I didn't really care so much for that guy. I was just like, okay, skip past that season. But when they added Chris Harris, who I'm a big fan of, put him together with Matt LeBlanc, and then they bring in Sabine Schmitz a lot, it was actually good. Like, different, but in its own right, actually decent stuff. Yes, it was still a little ham-fisted at times, but I think for what it was and what they had to do in their situation, they didn't do a bad job. And all this time, I just thought, it's probably going to suck. And, like, I started watching it a little bit further and realized, okay, actually, I'm all right. So, yeah, I watched a few of those, and I enjoyed it, actually. I was surprised.
It's forced camaraderie, though, Dane. Like, those aren't 3 guys that interact great. Like, we interact great, right?
We would have been awesome.
We would have been awesome on Top Gear.
I mean, come on. But at the same time, like, Chris Harris, I think he blends well, and I really do think Matt does a good job. Rory, I feel like he feels like the odd man out in a lot of those ones. So they have Rory, and they're usually like, cut to Rory, and he's just like on the couch talking about how he got to drive a slow car this week, and everybody else is doing something else, and you feel like, they're kind of icing him out, it feels. So, yeah, a little awkward there, but it was just interesting to watch and see, like, okay, watch it with fresh eyes. Let's just take this in as what it is.
Reliving the old episodes.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's easy. It's like going back and watching.
Starting off, watching again.
The OG, man.
You just can't beat it.
The first
especially
video,
when you realize how simple everything was.
Yes. Yeah. And it was a simple concept, but it was so effective.
Yeah.
And what was the first episode you ever saw? Like, what was happening in the episode you watched that got you to watch?
The very first
or was it
episode,
like a clip, not even like a full episode?
No, it was the very first episode. It was the first episode I watched. I remember it was a Tuscan TVR, and it was 2005, summer 2000. Okay. No, it was winter of 2005. Because my wife and I had been married, but we had moved into a new apartment, and we had a TV in our room. And I had come home from work. I took a shower, and I turned on, and I saw that on BBC, Top Gear was on. And so I was like, what's this? And I clicked it on and watched it. It was 2005.
Yeah.
And it was an episode, and Jeremy talking about it. And I was like, this is a great. And so I remember setting up my TiVo right then and there to start recording the show. And I watched, like, we were viewers from then on. Carly and I were. And the other night I told you I'd been watching some of the old episodes. And Carly came and sat on the couch with me, and we just watched a couple episodes. And she was like,
"It's fun."
She was like, "I forgot how much fun these were."
Normies alike, like you can enjoy, and that's what it was kind of made for. Is like, we'll give you enough actual gearhead stuff to like keep you compelled, but we will do some like slight factual inaccuracy, whatever, just to keep the regular people entertained.
Her favorite thing on Top Gear is when they do the challenges, and when they all pull up and they all crash into James's car.
Yeah, I love
her
that.
favorite thing. Like, she loves just watching James be belittled. Through all of it. It's like literally her favorite thing. It's just watching them like torment James May.
Right.
I don't know why, but that's like her favorite thing.
And
to see.
I know because somebody in the comments is probably wondering right now, well, which do each of these guys think they are? Clearly you're Clarkson, clearly you're Hammond, and clearly I'm May. I think that's just how that's set up. So we all understand that about each other pretty much. But yeah, just watching those originals. So that was the first you saw of it.
That was the first episode I watched. I remember.
For me, it was like right around that time. It was either a video clip I found online, like I found through like Kazaa or something. I was like looking for car shows and stuff and found they did like a segment on, it was the TVR Cigaris. And it was all trippy. I was like, whoa, the editing's kind of cool. And they got cool music and stuff. Like, okay, I'm kind of into this. And then I saw a clip of like a Carrera GT review, and I was like, oh, okay. And that's what got me in. And then I realized, oh, this is like a whole show, and I had no idea. So then found out, oh, it's on BBC, and like checked the cable listings, and then just started watching it from there.
Yeah.
From then on.
When was
How
that?
about you? That must have been around 2005, 6, like around that time. Maybe 2007 at the late. I think it was 6 though. Yeah, I think it
You're
was
a
6.
fresh-faced 15-year-old kid.
Yeah, basically. Wow. But you know,
Looking on the
you're
internet
into cars
for
and
bootleg TV,
your options. Your
TV
options are like these. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to make fun of anybody else's show choices and stuff, but like there wasn't stuff that really appealed to me in the way that I guess the kind of car shows I was looking for. And that was the first one that like really clicked for me.
I totally get it. That's how I was
because
too.
I like old cars too, but like watching guys fix a car in a shop, like you've seen it once, you've seen it a million times at a certain point. Unless they're doing something drastically different. So like seeing new cars and interesting, challenges and stuff, it was fun and different. I think my favorite was still their Vietnam special where they're riding the motorcycles, actually.
Oh,
even though it wasn't cars, that was fantastic.
I love that one.
What about you? What did you
I started watching Top Gear. I was actually in my late teens, right? 18, 19, 2008, 2009. And that was where I was kind of starting to, how do I say this, right? Because I had my Honda Civic, right? And I'd always be looking for things where Honda Civics were, were in things, right? Yeah. And I remember they had done a review of, I think it was one of the new Type R's that they had done. And I think it was, I stumbled across it on YouTube, right? But the thing is if you didn't have cable, right, you couldn't watch Top Gear.
You had to have BBC.
You had to have BBC, right? I did not have cable as a teen, right? So basically, I would have to watch. A torrent. I would have to watch all of my clips. They were short clips that were being uploaded to YouTube, right? But they were like 2 or 3 minute clips.
That was back in the Wild West days of YouTube when you could just upload anything. There'd be like full episodes of South Park and nobody cared. Like,
so I would get on there and these clips were only like 2 or 3 minutes long, but I remember seeing them, and then I remember getting into like my college house, and that's where I started. There's more stuff populating to YouTube, right? More and more stuff, and that's when I started watching all the Evo videos that they had done. So they did I was watching reruns of like the Evo 8 MR versus the Subaru STI, right? And then
FQ400.
And then they did like the 9, or no, I think they ended it with the 8. I don't think they ever did like a full on 9 review. At least I don't think. But anyways, then they did like the Evo versus Lamborghini, and I was like, damn. What a dream, right? Yeah. What a dream that would be to eventually have one of those. And I was just kind of daydreaming about it. And then that's when I was like 23, and I'd watch every single episode about any type of tuner type of vehicle. I avoided the weird cars because I didn't understand them at the time.
Don't worry, I got that covered. I'm all about the weird cars. So
and then that's when I started, and that's when I got my Evo, and that's when I was like, oh crap, I got one of the cool cars. And but then it was probably 23, 24, I went down the rabbit hole, got Netflix. I think that's when Top Gear started showing up on Netflix, right, at that earlier age. And started binge watching everything. Watched it for everything from the beginning. Love that show.
On that note, I think we've all kind of divulged a little bit about the first time we found out about that. But what about you? What time did you discover it? I'm assuming you know what it is. Top Gear, but at the same time, it's
something else.
Wow. Yeah, okay.
I'm like, well, we are talking about Top Gear, but I don't know what you're talking about.
In their early teens, some people, later in life, it just depends.
I'm not gonna judge, but at the same time, if you want to tell us in the comments, let us know what your favorite, episode, car review, whatever you saw was. Just something fun. You know, we can familiarize ourselves, get to know each other a little better. And I will say, I'm gonna remind you again. The
Cooper's
Rag
here.
Company Media Access Show. That is coming up next week. If you haven't marked yourself
Tuesday,
going yet,
Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
If you're on 10th. Facebook, head over to the Rag Company page, click on the events tab, and you will see the Rag Company Media Access Show listed there each of the days with the links to the time slots.
And you can also go to the website.
Yes.
TRCMA.com.
Yes.
Look, that's all
which we're looking at it right now.
Look at that.
So, you can get more information there. And, of course, as we've done before in the last couple weeks here, we've been streaming on multiple platforms. That includes the Rag Company YouTube channel, as well as Twitch at the Rag Company and Facebook at the Rag Company Facebook page. So we got the bases covered. It's just up to you guys to show up, share it with your friends, share it with other people you know who are like into cars, into detailing, or just want to learn what the latest products are. That's kind of what we're trying to do here, is just make an interesting show, making the best of a difficult time, I think, for a lot of people. So we're having some fun. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching or listening. If this is sometime in the future, from all of us here, we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
See ya.
See ya.